What's good to YouTube, and welcome back to another video. Now I hope you guys don't mind the gameplay in the background. I was just trying something new, get a little b-roll, something for you guys to look at. Also, I want to say thank you guys all. I've been getting a lot of love lately, so thank you guys so much for subscribing, for liking the videos if you guys didn't subscribe. And after this video right now, if you guys want to hit that sub button, that would really help too. Awesome. In this video, we're basically going to be talking about Tony Ferguson moving over to Wildcard. We'll touch on a little bit of the drama that happened with Dustin Poirier and Conor Mcgregor. We'll get into Sean O'Malley calling out Dominick Cruz, and we'll also get into the fights this weekend. We're not going to get into fight breakdowns. There's a bunch of other channels on YouTube that you can go check them out. Shout out Fight Night Picks. They do a really good job on breaking down fights. So I'm going to link their fights, their channel down in the description, and you guys can go check them out. I'm just going to give you guys my takes on who I think is going to win the co-main event and the main event. If you guys want me to break down fights, I am going to start breaking down fights, and not really breaking down fights, but giving my takes on fighters and stuff like that as time goes on this channel, and as we have a lot of exciting fights coming up too. So I might end this video by giving you just a list of these upcoming fights that's going to be really super excited to watch. Without further ado, let's get into our first topic. Alright, our first topic, we got Ferguson moving over to Wildcard. Why is this so important and why I'm going to talk about it here? If you don't know who Tony Ferguson is, I'm pretty sure you can go find a highlight of him. Just go type in Tony Ferguson highlights on YouTube. This guy is legend stats in the UFC, okay? This guy is so good, so fast. Like his ability to just, his fight IQ, his knowledge of the game is just high level, okay? This guy was once on a 12-fight win streak. This is the same guy who went into the Ultimate Fight and knocked out anybody they put in his way, had that little stint in the UFC, ends up losing to Michael Johnson, then going on a 12-fight win streak just to trip over a wire and to get pulled out of a title fight, okay? He was scheduled to fight Khabib 5 times, okay? It never happened. He ended up losing to Justin Gaethje, and he ended up losing to Oliveira, which Oliveira is in a title fight right now, which Tony Ferguson said that if Michael Chandler and Oliveira pulls out, he's willing to step up. He's willing to go, and he's willing to step up, and he's willing to be the replacement. He's also mad about it. He doesn't think that Michael Chandler, at least on Michael Chandler's side, deserves that title shot, you know? Tony Ferguson is hungry. He's like a lion. The reason why him moving gyms is so important, because not only is he going to be training under Freddie Roach, he's also going to get the mentorship of the GSP, you know, the greatest of all time, one of the GOATs. GSP, George St. Pierre himself, is going to be there to support him, be there as counsel, you know what I'm saying? Maybe not every day, but when you surround yourself with high level athletes like that, high level martial artists like that, you know what I'm saying, you yourself just grow. I think that Tony Ferguson, before those last 2 losses, he was like 18-1, okay? This guy was just killing everybody they put in front of him. This guy never runs out of gas. Like I was saying, his fight IQ is just next level. If you want to go look at his resume, okay? The reason why this is so big, because you need to lose in MMA. It's not like boxing. There's no touch-up fights in MMA. You fight the best of the best, okay? There's no touch-up fights. The reason why he lost is because I just feel well that Justin Gaethje was just well prepared for the best Tony Ferguson. Justin Gaethje had the best game plan for the best Tony Ferguson that night, and so did Oliveira. What did Tony Ferguson do? He said, you know what, I'm going to change gyms. I'm going to try a different scenery. I'm going to learn some stuff. He said he feels hungry again. You know, I don't know how it feels being rich. I'm not fucking rich. But Meek Mill has a perfect line. He says he's going to grind like he's broke, you know. So Tony Ferguson, he's going to grind like he's broke. He's going to grind like he's not at the top of the mountain. Tony Ferguson been the top of the food chain. The second, the number 1 contender, the second best, the third best in the lightweight division for like literally 8 years now. It's been so long since Tony Ferguson been up at the top, and us as MMA fans and truly, you know, look at him and be like, we don't even count those losses. You still up there, Tony Ferguson. You still up there at the top. You know what I'm saying? We count those losses, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know, this dude, a scary Tony, that's scary, man. A refined Tony Ferguson, a committed Tony Ferguson, a Tony Ferguson that knows what he did wrong and is going to make those changes, and taking that time properly to make those changes and not rushing back, taking the time to move gyms, look at his surroundings and fix his whole situation. That's a scary guy. Whoever they put in front of Tony Ferguson next is scary, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be so scary, you know? Like, the guy is a cardio machine, okay? This guy, I mean, like, I have nothing bad to say about Tony Ferguson in MMA, because this guy, man, arguably, He's top 5 lightweight. This guy's legend stats, okay? I know legend is a word that we don't want to give out as much. I know it's getting thrown out, but he really is true. This guy's a Hall of Famer one day. What he was to accomplish in the UFC is absolutely amazing, and he should be respected. You know what I'm saying? So for him to move gyms, that's huge, you know. And I want to leave you guys with this quote. He says that he feels like he was back on the Ultimate Fighter. He feels hungry, and that's not the quote. The quote I'm gonna leave you guys with is this quote right here. I took it down in my notes. He says, "If I have to pick all of them off one by one like John Wick, I will." One more time. If I have to pick them all off one by one like John Wick, I will. I like to see Tony Ferguson getting back to his roots. Also said he's willing to fight for 10 more years. That's basically his be 47, so 37 to 47. The fact that he's 37 and he's keeping up with these 21, these 27 years olds is absolutely amazing, and speaks to his ability to adapt and grow over time and take care of his body over time, like your Tom Brady's of the world. You know what I'm saying? He's an asset to the UFC. The UFC is really happy, really glad, really honored to have them, you know, to fight for the UFC. Like, they love Tony Ferguson, you know, and I don't watch other organizations, but Tony Ferguson is a fighter that if he was to go to a Bellator, I might turn on the TV and watch some Bellator, you know what I'm saying? No hood in that. Bellator got a lot of good fights, you know. I know Pitbull just won his match, so I know there's a lot of stuff going on there, so don't worry about it. Tony Ferguson's not going to Bellator, guys. That's just me talking shit. Just me talking nonsense. But all in all, that's a wrap on Tony Ferguson, man. And he also said, he mentioned a super fight with Nate Diaz. He does want to fight Nate Diaz. So that would be good if they can make that happen too. So Tony Ferguson, that's something to watch, man. New gym with Tony Ferguson. That's huge. Alrighty, let's get into it. Sean O'Malley and Dominick Cruz. The reason why this is important, it's really not important, okay? Sean O'Malley calls out everybody. The only reason why I wanted to cover it is Sean O'Malley, it can actually happen this time. Sean O'Malley has been known to be calling out all the top fighters in the bantamweight division, not even being ranked the top 15 himself. So I know when he was coming up, this guy's a story. This guy's a 5-star prospect, you know. When we say 5-star prospect in the UFC, we means this guy's coming up and he's gonna be a big time name. We could see it in his performance already, okay? So this guy's a 5-star prospect. This guy's gonna be big one day, okay? He claims that he's 13-1. He claims that he's 13-0. He's really 13-1. He did lose against Vera. A lot of people say that doesn't count because of ankle roll. Yeah, I seen that fight. I was watching it. Of course he rolled his ankle. Of course Dominick. Of course Sean O'Malley would fucking beat Vera if he didn't, in my opinion, okay? But he didn't. He rolled his ankle. But the way he rebounded that's why we're talking about him right now. He comes out and he fights fucking Thomas, okay? Now when he fights Thomas, a lot of people were saying that Thomas is a really good fighter, which he is. Thomas was a really good fighter until he started fighting these really elite opponents. Now could Thomas get over that hump? Of course he could. It's gonna take time for the guy's on the first fight losing streak. His last loss to Sean O'Malley. To reverse that, Sean O'Malley looked great versus Thomas O'Malley. So basically, you got Sean O'Malley looking great, calling out one of the GOATs of that division. I say GOAT, kind of one of the legends at that division. You know, calling out one of the legends of that division in Dominick Cruz. Now I know Dominick Cruz is up there, you know, in his UFC career, but don't get it twisted. Dominick Cruz can still scrap. I know it didn't really show that in the Henry Cejudo fight, but shit, that's Henry Cejudo. You know what I'm saying? So Dominick Cruz and Sean O'Malley, I think this is actually a time where Sean O'Malley's calling out these names and he could actually get one. We could actually see a fight with Dominick Cruz and Sean O'Malley. If that fight does get booked, I would love to break it down with you guys. I'd love to go over it. Until then, we're gonna move on. Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor drama. Basically, what happened is they fought in January. Conor McGregor agreed that he was gonna send $500,000 to Dustin Poirier. They agreed on a handshake. Comes to find out, Dustin Poirier is looking for money. There's nowhere to be found. Now, in Conor's defense, when you send money, whether it be for a foundation or whether it be for a charity, whatever it may be, for that amount of money to get sent, there's gonna be a team, there's gonna be structure, there'll be a lot of paperwork to file. It's not just gonna be like you're sending Bitcoin. If you was to send Bitcoin, it'll be fast, but they didn't send Bitcoin. Obviously, when it goes down to a foundation, there's a bunch of paperwork, there's a bunch of different structures, different lanes that has to go through, okay? That's what basically happened. So the money didn't really get seen eventually. When Dustin Poirier took it public, that's when Conor McGregor got mad. That's when Conor McGregor started snapping. They have a fight scheduled for May 16th, okay? Conor McGregor beat Dustin Poirier the first time. Dustin Poirier beat Conor McGregor the second time. They have a fight scheduled for the 16th, the third time. That's going to be a really good one. Perfect perfect promotion for the company. Get these guys tangled out, get these guys yelling at each other. Of course, come to find out that, you know, after reaching out to Conor's team and the miscommunication, that Dustin Poirier jumped the gun. He did receive the money, so it was just a whole bunch of what the fuck. You know, Dustin Poirier said, my bad for jumping the gun. He came out, he did a whole tweet on Twitter, basically explaining apologies, but at this time, you really got the fucking lion out of the cage. You really got the dragon out of the cave. You know, Conor McGregor's a beast. Conor McGregor's a savage, and he's already mad. Now, has he improved from that last fight? Has he worked on all that techniques to stop those leg kicks? Let's find out, because those leg kicks really got him in trouble that last fight. So if Conor McGregor had formulated a plan to stop that leg kicks, it's going to be a really tough night for Dustin Poirier. I can see Dustin Poirier beating Conor McGregor, but I also can see Conor McGregor coming back and beating Dustin Poirier. So this third fight is going to be a nice, good one. Awesome. Before we leave, guys, I just want to do a fast one on these fights coming up and coming this weekend. These fights that's up and coming this weekend. We got Kelvin Gastelum versus Robert Whittaker. You know, my take on that one is I like Kelvin Gastelum, but I don't think he's an elite fighter. We've seen him against really top levels, such as your Izzy's of the world, and his decline after losing to Izzy. I don't think that Kelvin Gastelum has what it takes to take on a killer, such as a focused killer, such as Robert Whittaker. You know, Robert Whittaker has better boxing, better BJJ, better wrestling. I think Robert Whittaker is all around the better fighter. As you can see, Robert Whittaker's last two fights, I believe he beat Jared Cannonier to a decision, and he also beat Darren Till to a decision. And you look at Darren Till and you look at Jared Cannonier and really rank up in that division. I know records don't count when it comes to the UFC, but you know, just look at it like Robert Whittaker has fought the tougher competition and looked good against the tougher competition, whereas Kelvin Gastelum didn't really fight the tough competition, and then when he finally got to fight the tough competition, he looked really bad against the tough competition, such as your Izzy's of the world. So if you look at it, yes, Robert Whittaker got knocked out against Izzy, but there's a reason why Izzy's the champion, okay? So Robert Whittaker, I see Robert Whittaker beating Gastelum in second round knockout. There's no chance. Obviously, there's always a chance, but for me, I don't see any scenario that Robert Whittaker walks out of the octagon with his hands raised. I think it's going to be a nice short night for Robert Whittaker, and he's going to get the victory there. It's going to be a short night for Kelvin Gastelum. I mean, Robert Whittaker is going to get his victorious, and you know, I can see Gastelum going to sleep. Obviously, Gastelum will knock me out, but we're talking MMA. You get paid to fight MMA, and I'm just going to break it down. So getting into our next fight, we got Klose versus Jeremy Stephens. Now, Klose versus Jeremy Stephens, that's a really, really good fight. Just for Klose, you know what I'm saying? Just because he finally can put that name on his resume. Now, Klose got some names on his resume, but not a name like Jeremy Stephens. Klose did come back out in his last fight and lose to Dernish, I believe his name was, if I'm not mistaken. This guy, he correct me if I'm wrong, but this guy, he fights like every 2 years. He's so elite, man. He's a black belt, like not Klose. This guy, he just lost against Dernish. Dernish is a really, really good fighter, and for Klose to lose against him, I just think that just made him better. Now, Jeremy Stephens, I believe he's like 8 and 10 or something, 8 and 12, like 8 and 12 in his last his last 20 fights. So he's for sure on the decline end of his career. You know, the guy fought in his career forever. You know, he's 34. A lot of people will say 34. That's right in his prime. And yes, you know, in the UFC, at 30 range is kind of like that early 30s is kind of like in your prime. But yeah, Klose at 33, really fully striving, you know what I'm saying? Really fully able to make that step forward. Would he be able to beat talent such as Jeremy Stephens? I think he would. Would it be a decision? Would it be a knockout? I think it's going to be leaning on more of decision. But Jeremy Stephens is, man, this guy throws. It's not no box combination, jab combinations with Jeremy. It's full punches. It's punches coming in at 70%, 85%, 100% power, you know? When Jeremy Stephens swings. He's willing to go out there and take your head off. So if Klose can have good movement and avoid all of that, he'll be okay. But I still, I can see a scenario where Jeremy Stephens comes out and knocks him and clocks him and puts him to sleep, okay? We got Adesanya fighting. I think he's going to rebound. I know he got knocked out his last fight. And we got a lot of other fights on this court, but I'm not going to go over it. I'm sorry about that, fam. I've been concentrating on the NFL draft and the Giants a lot. I'll be I promise you I'll have my UFC videos out and stuff for all my football lovers. I have the Rashad Slater video out. I'll have the Jalen Waddle video out that I'm working on. For the UFC lovers, I'll have the Making the Case for Amanda Nunes video out, and I'll have the Making the Case for GSP video out. I just wanted to give this kind of little bit of news update for the UFC fans, because I know that there's some UFC fans on my channel that's been waiting for my UFC news. So I appreciate you guys all, and thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you get that like button, make sure you hit that sub button. I appreciate you guys. Notifications on, and you guys have a good day. Thank you very much.